In this video, we're looking at a New American Standard Bible in the 1995 text, and as you can see here, this is a very interesting edition because it is called a dyslexia-friendly Bible. Is it something that actually is helpful? Well, I'm going to show you here what it looks like and answer that question based on a conversation that I had with someone. And just to show you what we're looking at here, the cover on this one is the brown leather text. I want to thank Lockman for sending me this Bible for review so that I can show it to all of you. And I think it's really helpful to just be able to show these things because there are really wonderful editions out there that people, if they're aware of them, it can be really helpful for people. And in this case, for people who have dyslexia or you know someone who has that condition, this might be a Bible that you would find helpful. It has clear reading type. According to the back here, uses OpenDyslexic 3 font, line match typesetting. It is a 10.5 size. It's Words of Christ in red. So, and there's other features there, as you can see. This particular one is the NASB 95 text. So we'll take a look at this, and as we do, you'll see the leather text here is a really, I think, nice looking cover. It's, I'd say, quite sturdy in terms of its feel. It's kind of a more flexible feel to it. Not necessarily the thickest cover, but I would say it has a pretty good feel to it. And what I like about their Bibles is they don't use paper paste down for the liner on these imitation leather covers. They actually use more of a vinyl material, plasticky, and I think that actually is better than paper. I think it's going to hold up better. So pretty nice cover in terms of its sturdiness, but I like the look of it a lot. I like the grain on there, and you can see the stamping on the spine. It also has gold page edges, and I think when I received it, they were probably in a little bit better condition than this, but I have handled this some, so I might have put some marks on the gold there. But generally, they do a really good job with their gold page edges. And then you see here you have a black and brown double-sided, which means there's a sheen on both sides of these ribbons. They're angle cut. Really nice with the color scheme here. When you get into the Bible, you do have some cardstock at the beginning, but no presentation page. And then you have the title page and everything. Even the copyright page is going to be in this this dyslexic-friendly font. That's hard for me to say, dyslexia-friendly. So it's the Dyslexia-Friendly Reference Bible. Printed in Korea, first printing from 2026. Here are the books of the Bible. So what you get here is really what you see in most Lockman Bibles. You have a foreword to the New American Standard translation, explanation of the format, a title page for the Old Testament, the Bible text. This is a reference Bible, and so you're going to have here 2 columns. And the line spacing, now to my eyes, this is actually harder to read. It's not as appealing to me. However, I did talk to someone I know, and they're dyslexic. They have that condition, and I asked them, is this something that you would actually prefer over other printings? And they said yes. Yes, it is actually helpful. And I think when they use the Bible on their phone, they actually use a font more like this. So there is definitely experience to back up what's being said here about these Bibles, that people with dyslexia they can find these Bibles helpful. So that might be something to consider if you know someone. Maybe have them look at this Bible, especially if they need an NASB 95. So, you know, it is really a typical reference Bible other than the font. You have the references, the cross-references at the bottom, as well as footnotes, translator notes. And they separated those out from what I can see here. So you actually have the cross references first and then the translator notes. I wish they would do that in all Bibles. Yeah, that font at the bottom is more of a plain font, but honestly, I think once you get to print that small, it'd be really hard to put it in a font like this. As far as the paper, I'm not seeing too much ghosting. Pages are going to be stuck together when you first get this Bible. At least my edition has a lot of stuck pages, but you can just take the time to unstick those, or as you use the Bible, they will unstick over time as you separate the pages. So you really just have here a a typical NASB 95 Bible in terms of the actual Bible itself. Really interesting what the numbers look like in this font. Wow. So you have paragraph format, but you do also have stanza setting for poetry. And as far as supplied words, and when I say supplied words, I'm saying words that aren't directly from the original language, but they're supplied by the English translators for clarity. And usually in the NASB, they're very clearly in italics. But now with this font, it's harder for me to tell where those are. That being said, the other formatting things, Old Testament quotes that are in the New Testament are in those capital letters. It's a red print for the words of Christ. So I would love to know if you have some sort of a condition that makes it hard for you to read, or to, I don't know, just the way some people process things in their mind. Having a Bible like this is helpful. Let me know. I'd love to know, what is it about this that appeals to you or helps your brain? Or do you know people that this has been helpful? I'd love to see that in the comments. You do have, typical NASB features, asterisk next to words that are like the historic present, I think is what that is. When you get to the back of the Bible, the page count here at the end of Revelation is 1656. And then you have introductions to the book of the Bible, all the typical things you see in Lockman Bibles. You also are going to have those typical charts. These are not in the Dyslexia-Friendly font, but I think for charts maybe it doesn't matter quite as much. So you do have here also read the Bible in a year. And after that, you just actually have some cardstock. So it has a lot of the features that are typical in Bibles from Lockman. Some of the things that are different, though, are at the beginning you don't have the family records, and at the end you don't have maps. So other than that, everything else is pretty typical with that font that has been changed, and that's really what makes this Bible unique and helpful for some people. So that's a look at the NASB, again, 1995 text, Dyslexia-Friendly Bible. Let me know in the comments if you have any things that you want to add to this conversation, or questions that you have. Thank you so much for taking a look at this with me from a first perspective.